What's going on, guys? It is I, once again, Some Joe Schmo, and welcome to day number 7 of our 12 days of Holoschlock Christmas. And guys, we are past that halfway mark. I am definitely excited about getting these done with, and you know, as usual, if you guys are enjoying yourself, if you guys are, you know, one with the misery that I'm with, then please go ahead and just like it, subscribe to it, do what you gotta do, guys. But let's just jump into this one because I feel like I'm constantly saying and I'm constantly one-upping the worst of these movies. And I think this is up there with one of the worst at this point. The Christmas Pageant, released in 2011 and stars Melissa Gilbert, who plays Vera. Melissa Gilbert, for those of you who are wondering, is actually the little girl from Little House on the Prairie, which at this point, looking at her now, should have been renamed to Little House in a Decent Plastic Surgery District. Boom, baby! We also have Robert Mailhouse, who plays Jack, the love interest in this movie. Now, Christmas Pageant, as it would imply, I was under the impression it was a beauty pageant. I was sorely mistaken. Now, Vera is a renowned play director in what other city but New York City, and is immediately fired because of a little bit of abuse at this point. He's let go, and you know, in pretty much a matter of minutes, her, I believe it's her agent, gets her a new gig, and under kind of false pretenses tells her that it's a really well-paying gig, it's another director role.
Shut up.
You'll have a great time doing it. Maybe you'll find some Christmas magic like you always do in these films.
Well, it's a very small theater company, upstate, and they're putting on a play.
So is sent to a little town. The best part, she's walking through this town, right? The most cheerful town I think I've ever seen.
Lovely day.
Hey, f you, man. I gotta just mention too, the music in this movie is constantly just bombarding you. Now, music in movies, guys, they, you know, complement the scenes. They try to pull some emotion from you, given the nature of what's happening in that scene. But this movie, that's all you hear. It's music after music after music. There's nothing else that So is sent to a little town, and once she reaches there, is placed into a home with none other than Mr. Gilbert himself. Does he play Mr. Gilbert? It's Gilmore Girls. I got him confused with Gilbert Grape. Of course, placed in this home and goes to her first day as a new director in this small town. I wonder how it'll go.
Ashton Falls pageant dates back to 1893.
We've been doing the same show ever since.
My goodness.
Yeah, we're introduced to a couple of these characters, and we have, is this Meredith from The Office? I know I'm gonna get a bunch of Office fanatics, and you know, that's not her name. It probably is, I'm right. So on her first day, she obviously kind of established herself as a little bit of a egotistical kind of director, trying to change things up immediately, doing her own thing, and you know, pretty much doesn't enjoy herself and makes the decision, as probably anybody in her position would want to do, to leave on that first day.
I understand.
You do.
But of course, the magic and the spirit of Christmas is encapsulated in this one child. This child approaches her, gives her a daisy, and starts asking her a little bit about Christmas. And guys, this is, for some of you who may have been following a couple of these videos, I have kind of a disdain for child actors. Sometimes they're okay, other times, very rare instances, they're great. 90% of the time, they are dog doo-doo. They are so bad, it's just, this one's no better, guys.
I don't think Santa is something people should joke about. Do you?
The little girl and Mr. Gilmore himself persuade Vera to stay. Just whistling a tune. That's what Christmas is. The spirit of Christmas is just a nice little song and spreading Christmas cheer for all to hear.
See, now don't you feel better?
She then, of course, meets up with her love interest, Jack here, who's looking kind of like a sailor. So we get a little backstory on Vera and Jack's relationship. They used to go out, as if everyone's got an ex-lover in these movies. Used to go out, and Jack ended up kind of pursuing a more homely kind of life, and she was more of that big city, big career kind of girl, and you know, ended up just staying in New York. So of course Vera stays. I think it's more so for the principle of it, and that she's like not a quitter, and that she kind of wants to face this whole hodgepodge of just cheerfulness and just the situation that she's in. And obviously too, it's still paying, so you gotta still make a dollar, right? Feelings continue to just bleh. And so in a scene where she goes, I believe it's a night where they're doing Christmas lights judging.
Isn't it a beaut?
This hat, it's just 2 testicles on her they're just dangling that you can't, you know, We then eventually find out that this little girl who, this has to be the director's kid because she is in so many scenes.
Want to hopscotch all the way home? Be so nice to each other. I wish it can always be like that. And come to my house for tea. I hope you like tea.
Wanna play some hopscotch? You wanna come over for some cookies and some tea? Shut up, kid. Yeah, we end up finding out that this little girl is actually the daughter to Jack. The only conflict really that arises here is that on day one, Vera wanted out. Her agent, about an hour into the movie, calls her up, says, hey, I got a new gig for you. So of course she says, yeah, I'll take it. And that's the conflict. She basically takes this new role, one of the quickest conflicts ever resolved. She goes to New York.
I know what I'm gonna do.
And then of course, like all the townsmen people come into the room and like, hey, we missed you. And she's like, cool.
You going to direct this play or not?
Not.
And there it is. That conflict was resolved literally in 5 minutes. So goes back to the town. The pageant is literally 2 performances. That's all it is. 2 performances. I don't know really what more to say about this. I agree. Even the dog thinks it's terrible. And that's all. That's it. That is what it is. I think the worst part of this movie was just the constant music. That's the Christmas pageant. Awful. Oh my, did we actually find an actual decent movie here? We may have, guys. This might be. I'm actually really excited to talk about this one. Naughty or Nice, featuring Meredith Baxter as Chrissy Kringle. I know.
Seriously?
And we also have Matt Dallas, also known as Kyle XY, who plays Lance. Chrissy Kringle works for an ad agency and upon the first 5 minutes of the movie is immediately fired from her job.
Miss Kringle. Yes. We're setting you free today.
Her best friend who's there, who is indeed the girl that played the love interest from Harold and Kumar, was it the second one? Guantanamo Bay. Chrissy gets fired from a job, goes home, and we learn that because her name is Chrissy Kringle, Kris Kringle, and as stupid as it might be, she does live on Candy Cane Lane, but we do learn that the, I guess, neighbors found out what her name was and, voted to change the street to Candy Cane Lane because of her, which is, what a dick move, dude, to like, she's already going through so much hell with her name being Kris Kringle that you're gonna do that to her and just change her name to it.
Yeah, don't be such a sourpuss. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Rocky's a little too smart for you. Yeah, a little too smart. Yeah.
She doesn't decorate her lights. She doesn't really want to follow these Christmas traditions because of everything, given the nature of, again, her name. Her boyfriend isn't proposing to her, and
women have other priorities than getting married. It will happen when it happens.
they try to mislead you in thinking that, he's cheating on her and that he's constantly working late. So anyway, we find out every year she gets letters sent to her from children. I just don't understand why at this point she just doesn't put a stop on the postal service to like say no more letters from these people, but semantics, right? As she's going through all the letters, throwing them all out, she finds this one big package and discovers that it's a book that is a naughty or nice list book, Santa's naughty or nice book. And what I thought was a really cool, I would say, plot device was that this naughty or nice list, because her name's Kris Kringle, when she reads out a name, it shows you the person in which you read the name and what the actions that they did were, which was naughty or nice.
Chrissy Kringle, who lives on Candy Cane Lane. Opens other people's mail.
She, starts to use the book for kind of her own selfish needs. She gets a job at a gift wrapping center because, of course she lost her job. Her boss at this gift wrapping center has the worst accent. I thought it was...
You're 15 minutes late. Well, Graham said you're going to be an elf. Put this on and meet me in Santa's workshop. Merry Christmas. Got another load for the elves. That was your break. Another hour and a half till lunch.
He speaks with an Australian accent, yet he is not Australian.
I thought it was just a bad Australian actor, but it comes out that, I just watch a lot of Crocodile Dundee, mate. Yeah, it's just got a little accent here. You gotta do some gift wrapping. Why did I think it was I don't know. As the movie goes on, we see more and more of how Chrissy Kringle uses this naughty or nice list to, benefit her.
Brittany, stop telling everyone Tiffany's bulimic. She's not.
And Tiffany texting Brittany's boyfriend she's cheating on him. That's rude.
There's this whole plot about the neighbor, and because she lives in a cul-de-sac, they have this big light spectacle. Every year they have this whole thing about who's got the best light display on their block, and there's this one neighbor constantly going around stealing items from other people's yards so that her house looks better.
If we take a peek in Debbie's shed, could probably solve this mystery.
Puts the neighbor on blast, and then, of course, makes her look like a fool, and then it's fun. Makes her look like a fool, and immediately the woman's like, I gotta move. This is unacceptable. People are gonna think I'm a little kleptomaniac. I can't have that happen. So, again, and then this is the part of the movie where she uses the book to, spy on her boyfriend. She doesn't really trust about the whole working late and whatnot, so looks it up.
I'm sure you understand, right?
Starts having a nervous meltdown in the middle of the mall, yelling at a kid.
But instead, you were gonna be single and unemployed and too weak and intimidated to do anything about it.
I don't blame you, girl. Makes sense to me. We do find out that, of course, because, the mother throws some nice, Psych 101 of there's always two sides to every coin. And we learn that
Lance wasn't lying.
What about his little escapade with Jill?
They were together when we were broken up.
What?
So she realizes that all the bad that she saw was kind of circumvented by the good that people do. It's pretty much just a representation that, people can be semi-terrible, but also, too, the things you don't know about them might be really good.
I know that you are a generous philanthropist who donates a substantial amount of money to a lot of local charities.
That's supposed to be anonymous.
At the end, she uses the book to figure out that her best friend, Kumar's girlfriend, got her fired from her job and is now stealing and taking secrets from the company, the ad agency that she was working for, and is selling them and gonna move to another company. And, Kyle XY here ends up forgiving her at the end, helps to sell out the friend. Chrissy Kringle gets her job back, and of course, it ends with her getting proposed to by Kyle XY, where they can have nice little alien belly buttonless, children. Now, the movie actually circumvented my expectations because, you watch a movie like this and you think, girl breaks up with boyfriend, girl finds some other nice guy, nerd guy, and ends up finding, the good, the Christmas spirit, the cheerfulness in him, and then in turn they fall in love. But this movie actually kind of I don't know, it was trying to throw you a couple of characters that you think might be the romantic interest, but again, it was actually, I don't want to say a shocker, but it was something that definitely kind of threw me off guard that they would actually go that route rather than the traditional, let's kiss, let's have a romance here, all that nonsense. And that's Naughty or Nice. Again, guys, I was actually surprised with this one. It was not bad. It kept me interested. It had a decent story and not a bad movie. I actually would recommend if you were watching it with somebody, if you had, a family member, watch it. It's not bad and it's not as cheesy as you might think, guys. Naughty or Nice. Naughty too bad. Not too bad.